Hey everybody, and welcome to the Shadow Artist Experiment. As always, I'm your host, Josh Bell, with the lovely Gabby, who's here today right after a yoga class. So, we are on week 9. I guess this is always so weird to me. I always say like chapter 9, but really it's like week 9. It's like the entire week that we're doing. So, as always, let's start with check-ins. How are you doing with everything?
I'm doing pretty good. I did my morning pages today. I was off track big time last week. I'm back on this week. The one thing that I've been great about up until this week has been my
meditation. Oh, you haven't been good this week? I've still been doing.
I fell into my old patterns.
Oh, that's okay though.
Of that negative energy first thing of who do I want to decapitate?
Who do I want to damn when I wake up in the morning?
Who's this curse going out to today?
Well, it's funny you mentioned curses with your lovely Ministry of Magic shirt on today.
This is the good end of it though. Create the magic, be the magic. Yeah. Life is magic.
So it's funny you bring that up because I've been doing a card a day, and if you follow me at joshua.t.bell, you will see my lovely card a day that I've been doing. And today was I did it from the Mary Magdalene Oracle, and it was The Secret. And so I was talking about that actually in the other side, like what is the secret? And if you've read the book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, which is a great book. It's just like, it's one of those books that you read and you're like, I'm just happy the entire time I'm reading this. And it's like, oh, this makes so much sense. And then there's like that nice like week to 2 week period afterwards where you're like all about the law of attraction and putting out in the world like what you need. And then yet again, talking about that, you fall back into old patterns. But I actually took it in two directions. I said, I think the answer is the law of attraction, but also the answer is love, which I got from Steven Universe. And there's this beautiful episode called The Secret, and the answer being love. So it was such a beautiful, like, this idea of putting out in the world what you want to receive back. So Gabby wants to be cursed.
No. I don't.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I want to be cursed. No. Yeah. Well, it is. So you literally, when you are hating on somebody, or when you are angry, or in my case, when you are enraged, first thing in the morning, before you open your eyes, even, it's you drinking the poison, not that other person.
Well, and it's really funny because we were talking last week about the good news that we were going to put out there. And right after this is actually going to be a slightly shorter podcast. And I apologize to all the people who expect like 45 to 50 minute podcasts because we are both going into a new healing center here in Jersey City that isn't, I don't have an opening date yet, but we're looking at a space. We're doing like the final walkthrough of the space before we decide to go in with our partners. I feel like partners, like I'm talking about our significant others, but like the partners in the business. And it's gonna be so exciting. Like I'm gonna be doing like the managing stuff there. So yeah, it's just amazing kind of manifestation that we've been talking about. Like you and I have both talked about like getting a space for a yoga studio. Michael and I have talked a lot about getting a healing space, and with our friends, we've actually manifested that. So even though Gabby is throwing out the poison, she's got all of this.
Oh yeah. It's one day.
Yeah.
I did this one day in a row instead of like months and years.
That's
I did
true.
A day, and I'm acknowledging it, saying it to you, and knowing that I need to return to the other way of being.
Yeah.
I honestly, you missed book group this week, and that's when the breakdown happened.
Oh, really? Was it deep? Yeah, I missed it. My soon-to-be brother-in-law went back to Colombia, so it was a rush on Monday. Like I've been waiting for 2 weeks to go to this book group, and then very suddenly, like, I'm not going. I can go next week though, so I actually need to ask you what chapter we're reading. But
yeah, so we didn't even get to that because I shut it down for the first time ever.
Oh, really? It was that bad?
For me, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew something was coming up. I knew that it had triggered me in the past. I thought I could ride it through, and then...
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I also understand that like those kind of things need to happen every once in a while.
Yeah,
kind of like...
I called Dawn afterwards, and she was so great. She's like, you weren't triggered, Gabby. You mainlined, or something like that. I've never heard that expression before. But yeah, this thing, just never bring up in a conversation anybody joking about incest or pedophilia or pedophiles.
Oh, yeah.
Ever to me,
Truck going by, guys.
Exactly.
Vroom,
That's what happened.
Vroom, vroom. Yeah, it's it's funny. Like, that doesn't ever, like...
And
really?
they were joking about that. They're supposed to be sensitive to everybody, even pedophiles now. And I'm trying to be part of this conversation, and I'm like... And then all of a sudden, I'm just gone.
Weirdly, this has come up a lot for me lately too, and not in like a personal triggering way. It's just like it's come up a lot. Like now that I think about it, I'm reading this comic. I was reading this comic called Fallen Angel, and like there is this. It's the city that shapes the world, but it's also known as the city of sin that the comic takes place in, and like there's these incestuous relationships. Or there's there's a couple of incestuous relationships, and one of them is like, yeah, it's just, it's weird. And then I know people who've had to deal with that obviously in their life, and it's just such a weird thing. And it's like, you can't, it's a hard thing to like be forgiving about, and like we talked about this.
I am in a forgiving space.
We've talked about it though.
The trigger for me is joking about it.
Oh yeah, because
it's just joking about it.
There's a seriousness. There's a seriousness.
No, it's not even. I lost my ever loving brain.
Yeah, I get it.
I just went like it's gone. And then one of the biggest episodes I've ever had in my life. A boyfriend wanted to watch Natural Born Killers, and I was just like, go on your own. Do it on your own. I don't want to. Because I knew that that they make fun of incest in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I had no memory or recollection or anything. I just knew that I couldn't, that wasn't tolerable to me.
Yeah.
And he brought it home on my birthday. He brought the DVD home on my birthday after I'd already said, I just want no, and I lost
And this is why Gabby doesn't date.
I didn't know why I was losing it. I just lost my ever-loving mind. I'm yelling and screaming and carrying. It was the worst episode I've ever had in my entire life. And I saw that coming back at the same time. I'm trying to hang in there for this conversation yesterday. And they're just mentioning something, and it happens.
And it's hard. It's hard, like, especially, and I mean, there is an upside to this, is that, like, you've created a very caring and group, and they also, like, everybody in the group is really understanding. So, like, that's what's great about having the book group that we have and having the friends that we have in the book group, because it's like, okay, you can have these moments and have the conversation afterwards, like, okay, this is why it wasn't okay, and, like, this is why, like, I, reacted the way I did, and Dawn is wonderful.
Dawn's
so wonderful.
The best. We love Dawn.
So yeah, I've been I still haven't been counting. I don't know why, like I just don't pick it up, but I've still had that awareness that we've talked about, like when I spend $3.83 on my coffee. My iced tea.
Into the Void, we have this great new place that is open next door, and I love Andy and Kev, and my dog is addicted to going in. I didn't let her to go in today, and she was so pissed at me. I'm just a little down, and I wasn't up to seeing people today.
And now I'm like,
Gabby, we're gonna go see people. Let's go see all the people.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. It's okay.
But that's what this is about.
Yeah.
It's actually about friendship.
Mm-hmm.
The chapter and our friends and seeing people and getting out into the world and all of that. The very beginning of the chapter is literally called Friendship.
Yeah.
And you are my dearest and loveliest friend.
I also should say I didn't give her a choice. I was like, we have to do this podcast quick because we have to go see this today. And I wasn't planning on going either. I was planning on just recording the podcast. But when I went over and talked to the people at the Crystal Shop, he was like, she really needs to go in the space and see it, because I really need everyone to be excited about it. Because I feel like that excitement is also what keeps the people that we work with moving. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. Let's do this and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, this is one of those times when, like, okay, you may not want to see people, but like we have to do it for other people because we're going to be working with them. And it's so important to put on a face. And not just put on a face, but like really be excited about it. I'm so excited about this place.
I know.
And there's so much that's happening. I have my family coming in a few weeks. We're getting a new apartment. Like, there's a lot happening, and it all seems to be happening very fast. So when talking about The Secret and the law of attraction, it's like we put out this generosity into the world and like this want with the universe, and the universe is like, okay, well, here it is. Now deal with it.
Now go
deal
to
with it. Yeah. So on everything else, like I've been doing well. I've kept with my, I said I was gonna do it once a day, and I've been doing it once a day with my 5 minutes.
How are you doing on morning pages?
Every day.
Good.
I just finished another notebook. I didn't do the prosperity points this week, I will say that, so we'll look through them. We'll look through them quickly today. I did obviously read through them when I read the chapter, but I just haven't got to it today. So I have to. It's really funny when I do that. It's like I just do them and then I read the next chapter. So it's like I still get them done. I don't think I've missed any of them actually. Yeah, because I've made it a point. I still didn't design my altar. Like I didn't physically design it, but I feel like that has a place in the new space.
Absolutely.
When I get there, like
you are designing an altar.
Yeah, I'm designing
just in a new space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really cool too. And I think she's moving us in the direction of, it's not just the prosperity of finances.
Yeah.
It's the prosperity of spirit. Like we said, this chapter is all about friendship. Mm-hmm. It's funny, I was listening to Eckhart Tolle, and he's the Power of Now, right? Mm-hmm. And
A New Earth, right? He did A Power of Now and New Earth. I think I read A New Earth first, and then I went back.
He gives this really lovely talk on being in the present, being in the now, enjoying the moment. And I feel like that's really where she's guiding us too.
It's so beautiful. Like
finding the space to really, like, you work, you create, you do, and find the space to enjoy what it is that you're working on, enjoy what it is that you're creating, enjoy what it is that you're doing, and with the people in your life, to have these friends and connections, and that relationships are ultimately what it's all about. It's about the relationship with yourself, and it's about the relationship with others, and that is true prosperity, and everything else follows from there.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like then there's a relationship with yourself, there's a relationship with people around you, and that's what breeds this positive energy outwards for your relationship.
A
lot
of the financial constraint I was feeling, or the stuff that you have going on in your own head, she handled in the beginning of the book. So it's like you did the deep dive into who you are and what's holding you back, and now she's like, go. Yeah. Be with the people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the prosperity.
Also, look back at the times that like you've had these moments as well, because I feel like that's what's great about the way she writes and about this chapter, is because she's very like, this is the one. Is this the one with the horses, or was the horses the last one? The horses.
No horses.
Oh, the horses is the last one. But oh no, it was, because she went.
Oh yeah, she goes to see her friend with the horses. I'm sorry. You're right.
No, it's okay. But like, the way that she describes that and like being prosperous, it's like, it's really seeing these moments that you have. Like I remember when I saw this space, and like I went and seen this space once before, and this is my second time. This will be Gabby's first time, and like I saw it and I was like, okay, like yeah, I think it'll work. Like I could see it working, but at the same time, it felt like really, it felt really confined in what's there now. But it's one of those things when you have to take a step back and be like, well, what can it be? Do you know what I mean? And like that's I feel the same way about staying here. It's like because when I was thinking about staying here and where I was like hit with that like anxiety about it, there was this sense of confinement, you know, and not seeing what it could be in terms of like changing my job and like working at this and doing that. Like, you know, it like I had to almost break what I was seeing so that I could break what's right in front of me so I could see what's actually there. Yeah, I love that. So, talking about friendship. Yeah, we did that. We talked about friendship.
The universe. Yeah. So this is something that I've been so struggling with, as you are aware. Mm-hmm. And I'm coming back. I'm not quite. I had, before this last traumatic event in my last break, so to speak, when I broke everything and now needed to restore, I had absolute faith in myself and the universe. Mm-hmm. I always thought that, you know, no matter what I did, that I would jump. I remember telling my mom everything was kind of coming undone, and my mom is like, you gotta get away, you have to leave. I'm like, Mom, don't worry, I will always be the girl in the water. I know how to tread water, I know how to float. I'm the girl in the water, I can handle it. Send me a storm, I can weather anything. And then this thing happened.
Well, and that's the storm that you're talking about, though, is like, you are weathering the storm. But
I am, but like in a different way than I expected.
Yeah, but you're still like, there's still a fucking storm that you're dealing with.
and when I came out of it this time was the first time in my life that I lost the faith.
Yeah.
What she's talking about, I lost faith that there was a benevolent source, creator, universe. I lost faith that I could weather anything. I lost faith in myself.
Yeah, but there's also the other side of that, is that like, this isn't I feel like this isn't the first time you've lost faith, because half of losing faith is that, like you were saying, that restoring it. Like, because it's still there, and you know it's still there. It's just like,
I don't know. I had twins the second time around. I still thought I'll get through this. No problem.
You did get through it.
I did. I really believed that.
But there was also
trust.
But
that the universe had my back.
But there was also like when.
Have you ever completely lost trust in the universe having your back? I'm getting back there. That's what I'm saying. But have you ever completely lost the faith?
Yeah, when I was dealing with like my mental breakdowns, like
this recent one, or
well, yeah, I would say like, because I had 2 like mental breaks like back to back, and a lot of it had to do with addiction. But the first one was like, I literally was. It's so bizarre, because as somebody like me I'm very much be an optimist, looking towards the future and all that kind of stuff. It's in those moments that I'm so present that I don't see, like, it was in that moment that I was so present, like I wasn't looking for anything optimistic. I literally thought the entire world was going to burn down. I was going to be alone, like, and I was also being a fucking horrible person at the time. Like, I wasn't being a good person
like that.
But you know, it's all worked out. Like, it's and I'm in that.
That's the thing, is I always believed, even at the worst of times, that things would work out.
Yeah.
One way or the other, things would just work out. That they would work themselves out, or I would make it work out. And people talk about bottom moments. I think that really was my bottom moment, when I realized that I don't trust anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not trust other people. It was trust myself.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is source, that is creator, that is universe. We are one and all, la la la. But it is that conduit for source. I didn't trust that I had it anymore.
But that's the beauty of it all, is as well, because it's like, we were talking last week about like being depressed, and how like you need to be depressed. Sometimes you need to lose that faith, because you need to be able to find it again. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know that everybody needs to lose it.
No, I agree. I don't think everybody needs to lose it, but some people do. Like, I feel like, because you need to restore that faith in yourself, and that everything's going to work out. And you need to have the, like...
I think as healers, that having lost it and finding or restoring, being in the journey of recovery is important for us, because then we have the understanding. We can look at somebody when they're there in that lowest moment, or when they hit bottom, and we've been there, and we know what it is.
It bursts that empathy and that understanding. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so let's, like, it's really funny. Like, I know I'm talking about like rushing through this and stuff and trying to keep this to like 20-25 minutes, but I feel like we've had that, like, we've
talked about this before.
Yeah, and it's also like we've already encompassed everything we need to encompass when it comes to friendship.
Well, in terms of friendship, I mean, that's what this is
all
about. We got that part.
So
I am so fucking grateful for you,
this
Josh,
is so
by
funny.
The way.
Oh, thank you. This is
Yeah.
So, so I'm looking at the prosperity points here, and take time to contact the beloved friend. I spent 4 hours talking to my friend Diane yesterday, and she's going through some really, really tough times. She's a single mom, and she's dealing with like teenage kids, and she's struggling. But like, we were talking, and like a lot of dark stuff come up when we have a conversation. Like, both like her just helping each other, like bring it up, and like a lot of stuff in the past came up, which was just an amazing conversation. And it's like at the very basis of healing, like that's what it is. It's just like having an open ear and talking, like, and I love that.
Call a friend.
Yeah.
That's what it came up several times for me. We're in Artist Way. That was the one thing that I said I was going to do this week, is call two friends. And I'm in an Artist Way group as well as doing this. It just came up now, call a friend.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's really kind of book group. I called Dawn. I mean, like, I needed somebody to explain to me that I just lost my ever-loving mind, but I was getting there.
Yeah.
Almost
well,
back.
It's like there's a trauma response to that as well. Like, I feel like when I get upset and somebody gets upset at me, I really want to explain where I'm coming from to get them to understand. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that comes from when we're young, people blowing us off or not trying to understand us, and we need to get our voice out there. There's all that throat chakra stuff. So I think to end this, I really want to talk about this. Recall and describe one answered prayer.
That is in lines with faith in the universe, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because it's remembering when you, like, for you, it's remembering when you did have faith, like when you put it out there. And I would say that, I always feel like I'm being emotional and being romantic, but I always feel like Michael is an answered prayer, like, and in a lot of different ways. Like, he's the one who helps me get sober the first time, and then dealing with my addiction, like, we helped each other. So, like, there's a lot to say about that. There's a lot to be thankful for when it comes to that. And it's not just him. It's like, I feel like the crystal shop that he works at, that was an answered prayer that I didn't know I asked for. Like, helping us find purpose and find a home here again, you know? So there's a lot to be gracious about. I was gonna say a lot to be gratitude about, a lot to be gracious about for that. So what about you, Gabby?
Well, I have two answers for this one. So, answered prayers. My daughter was really sick at one point, and we were in the hospital, and her blood pressure dropped to 0, and we moved into the emergency ward. We moved out of the hospital. And
that wasn't long ago, was it?
It's been a while ago. And it's really not my story. I'm not even telling you which daughter it is, because... Yeah.
And that's the upside of having two sets of twins. She has a lot.
There's a lot to choose from. But that night, they talk about, I'm agnostic, you know, I don't believe in God per se. But
I roll my eyes at that still.
I know. We'll have that conversation another day. But that night I prayed. Yeah. Because there are no agnostics in a foxhole. And that was a foxhole. Your kid is at death's door. I'll pray to anything. Yeah. I will pray to anything. You name it, I'll pray to it. So, and she made it through. Yeah. And she's alive and healthy. She's so fucking healthy and doing great things. Oh my gosh, the universe is really unfolding for her right now. And I just get this sense that my daughter is going to do extraordinary things. Yeah. And that it's just opening. Talk about magic. So
and what's your second one?
And I grew up on two forms of music. As a child, we had country and we had western. And there's a great country western song.
We're gonna have a discussion about what's the difference between country and western. But
there is none. But we had both. There's a great country western song that says, "Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers." Sometimes when I'm talking to the man upstairs. It's somebody famous. We'll have to Google it, but. Sometimes when he doesn't answer, it means he really cares. Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers.
Yes, I remember.
And, you know, when I was in the same place that you were in with the relationship, I would have done anything, given anything to hold on to that relationship. Yeah. And I am so completely, utterly grateful to be out of it. Just for my own enlightenment.
And I feel like... and it's really funny because it's almost like it was an answered it was the prayer you couldn't, it was the subconscious prayer that you didn't know.
Oh no, it was not. There was no part of every iota of my body wanted to hold on to that.
Yeah.
Everything wanted to hang on to that. I would have done anything. And it was an unanswered prayer, and I am eternally grateful. No matter where I am now and what I'm dealing with, it will never be as horrible and toxic as those last days.
Yeah.
I look at how it's almost like a different human being, the way my mind was working and functioning or not functioning. The manic state of being I was in was not a happy place.
I feel like to finish this up here is that like we have to thank the universe for both the answered and the unanswered prayers that lead us to where we need to be.
And let's speak it to the universe. I started asking the universe for what I want again. I want a show, which we're doing. I want it to have some form of brand. I want to tape and record my yoga classes and get them up and have a
which
yoga
we're still
show.
working on.
You know, and this is new. I have not been declaring once. They've been in the back of my head itching there for well over a year now, and I haven't been declaring. And I kept saying I don't want anything. Well, yeah, actually I do. I do have some wants.
Gabby, that's so good, because we talked, like, I remember when we did the first season of this, where it's like, I don't have passion for anything, and like declaring your wants is definitely saying you have some passion.
I have passion. I have passion for yoga and for healing and for wellness and the journey that we're on, for friendship. And Julia, thank you, Julia. You answered so many prayers.
Yeah. And sadly, as with that, I don't know, sadly.
Yeah,
we bid you adieu. I feel like yes, we love you, Julia. Thank you all. This is the Shadow Artist Experiment. Once again, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. The Shadow Artist Experiment. You can find me on Instagram at joshua.t.bell or at howwebegin. And you can find Gabby on Instagram at Gabby Creery, or you can search Gabby Creery on Facebook. So thank you all. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.